Hey guys, how's it going? This is gonna be my first video here on YouTube, so there's gonna be some not great video quality, no microphone, no experience. It doesn't matter. Don't need a million followers like that. I just want to try it out, because I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of investors on YouTube, and my account's kind of in turmoil. I'm gonna slide over to the left here. That's my main account. That's a hot mess. I'm kind of leaving that cash and I'm going to start over. And, with a much more concentrated portfolio, I kind of got into all that high yield stuff. And as fancy as it sounds, it ends up being mostly junk. When you think about the long term, short term, it feels good to get all those dividends. But yeah, my name's Michael. My dividend handle's Dividend Mike, but I just had to pick a name. I just go by Michael. Don't know if I'm ever going to call myself that. It sounds kind of silly. But yeah, that's the whole point of this video, is just to start sharing my portfolio, because hey, any comments, recommendations, thoughts, I wouldn't mind having second thoughts on what people think about what I'm doing. 'Cause in my personal life, nobody around me invests. So it's just me and whoever I meet on the internet. And, I don't really think there's enough. My girlfriend has gotten into it a little bit, but it's just me teaching her, so it's the blind leading the blind. I don't think I'm a bad investor. I just think that, my knowledge has been put to waste. I've learned a ton about it, but then it failed to, no conviction on my decisions. Like, hey, I can't sit tight. I keep jumping to do this, jumping to do that. Got to buy this, versus just concentrating on, smaller positions and taking the dividends. I need to accumulate emergency funds, so I don't ever have to pull from my portfolio. I don't have big money to do the whole paycheck to portfolio thing. Like, I need to put whatever peanuts I can put in there. The guy I like to watch lately, the Jay Vasquez guy, he calls it a cup of coffee. Put a cup of coffee in. I think I'm going to have to stick to that for a while, because of, a bunch of different reasons. Quit my job for a different job. That didn't work out. Can talk about that more at another time. Not making a whole bunch of money right now, but I'm making more than enough to at least pay my bills. I can do Lyft, to make some money on the side, have a couple of houses to do Airbnb, but I need to get back to having a full-time steady income, because there's not really any reason for me to just barely scrape by if I want my portfolio to get to a certain level. So I haven't set any goals. I haven't put any thought into YouTube or how to make videos. You can click on screen record. Anybody can do it, and at some point, you just have to post a video. It might get 1 view. It might get 0 views. It doesn't really matter to me that much. I'm not a big internet person, don't really care a whole lot to talk about myself. I don't mind, talking. I've always been in a job where I have to communicate a lot all day, every day. But I've never really talked into a camera. Like, I don't even know if I have a single video of myself posted on the internet, maybe my entire 30 years of being alive. So this is new for me, but I have faith in myself, and a lot of encouragement from the people that I do watch. It's not like they have a million viewers. They might have 10 people watching at one time, which is, that's a big audience for somebody that's new into it. So I think that's all I've got for this first video. This is going to be the portfolio I focus on. It's $500. How quick can I get to 1,000? I don't know. But I will put more thought into these videos going forward, and I hope to get some views. Appreciate anybody that watches. So all right, have a good one, everyone.